Hello everybody, my name is Julie Beaver, and here is my theory presentation for Abstract Algebra and Galois Theory, Math 676. So my main goal is to talk through some of the definitions and a theorem in 6.2, and to get some deeper understanding of what's the background and what do these things actually mean in depth. So definition 6.2.1 says, let R be a commutative ring with unity. Well, then the set of multiplicative inverses of R, written R star, is the set of all elements R of R, such that there exists an inverse, and I'm going to call that R bar of R in R. So more formally, basically what we have is we have R star, and it's defined as, so R, small r, it's an element, belongs to R, and so there's always going to be an inverse in there, such that when you take R times its inverse, you get 1. So that's our backstory a little bit there. Then theorem 6.2.2 says, let R be a commutative ring with unity. The set R star is a group when equipped with the product in R. So as I was thinking through that, I thought, I need to go back and remember what even is a commutative ring with unity specifically. So that goes all the way back to chapter 2. So 2.3.1 says a commutative ring with unit is a set R with the same properties of a field except for the existence of an inverse for all elements of R different from 0. So then let's go back and look at a field. A field is a set F equipped with two binary operations. We're going to write them as plus and multiplication, or sum and multiplication. And they're called sum and a product, or addition and multiplication, satisfying the following properties. So what were those properties that we have gone back and proven so many times? First off, there has to be commutativity for both operations. So A plus B equals B plus A times B equals B times A, for any A and B that belong to this field. There's also associativity for both operations. So you can take A plus B plus C, and then you can associate differently. So A plus B plus C, the quantity, and then you can do that for multiplication. We also have the distributive property, very important. Then there always exists a 0 element, and it's called 0, and that if you add that to any element, you will still get the same thing. Then an opposite, so for every element, there exists an opposite, so that if you add them together, you get 0. There's also a unit element. So again, these are all the things that we need in a field. And so there exists that unique element, we're going to call it 1, and it's different from 0, such that when you multiply, it does not change your solution. But then here is where we have the difference in the commutative ring with unit and a field. So the commutative ring with unit does not have the inverse. So for every element A that belongs to F, different from 0, there exists another element B such that A times B equals 1. And a place that this would happen would be the integers, because if you take, for example, 2, well, to get 1, you'd have to multiply that by 1/2, which is no longer an integer. So that's our big difference. So again, we're looking commutative ring with unity. What does that mean? Well, it's all of the pieces of a field except for this last one, the inverse. Okay, so we're starting in this theorem that we've got a commutative ring with unity, but now we have to prove that it's a group. So we're going to prove that it's a group when equipped with the product. So what do I need to prove? I need to prove that I have associativity. I need to prove that there's an identity. And then, last but not least, I need to prove now the inverse, because remember, commutative ring with unity took the inverse piece out. So I now need to show that to prove that it's a group. All right, so if that's the case, associativity. Well, because R is a commutative ring with unit, we know that it has associativity. Identity. Because it belongs to a commutative ring that has identity, then I know that this will have that. So those two are just kind of because of the commutative ring with unity, we know we have those. So now, inverse. This is the big piece to make it all work. Well then, if we look at the definition down here, we know that part of the definition of R star, it says that we have an inverse, that if you take R times R bar, you get 1. So just because of the definition of R star, we now have that. So we can say that R star is a group when equipped with the product in R, because it has associativity, it has an identity, and it has an inverse. So that's wonderful that we proved this, but what does this all mean? What does that help us with? It means that if we have a commutative ring with unit R, then R star contains all of the elements of that ring except 0. So this works in the integers because if we have the integers modulo n, we know that that's a group for the sum because we have proved that throughout the class. But by definition, the integers modulo n star is only a group for the product because of the except 0. So let's look at an example of how this plays out. If we have the integers modulo n, I'm going to choose n to be 10. So I know the elements of integer modulo 10 are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But I also know that the elements of integer modulo 10 star are 1, 3, 7, and 9. Well, how do I know this? Because I need to have a place in there somewhere where when I multiply the two pieces, I get 1 modulo 10, which I have gotten when I go through. So here's my Cayley table. And if I look in all of the rows, I have a 1. In all of my columns, I have a 1. So that means at some point in time, my integer modulo 10 star, when I put that all together and multiply it together, I get something that's equivalent to 1 mod 10. So how does this relate to Galois? Well, as I'm thinking about Galois, I've always had this struggle of, I have this beautiful definition, but I'm not sure how to say it. What does that actually mean in layman's terms, per se? So I went to Merriam-Webster, and this was actually really helpful to me. So Galois theory, it's a part of the theory of mathematical groups. So we've been working with groups concerned especially with the conditions under which a solution to a polynomial equation with coefficients is a given mathematical field, and it can be contained by the repetition of operations. So that's important, the repetition of operations right there. That's what I showed on the previous slide with my Cayley table. But then it also says the extraction of nth roots. So what did I just do that helped me with the extraction of nth roots? Well, if we go back to theorem 6.2.20, it says this: the Galois group of x to the n, all minus 1, over the rationals is isomorphic to the integers modulo n star. So really what I just showed on this page right here is that if I take my Galois group of I used integers modulo 10, well, when I take that, then I can go through. So my Galois group of the on the rationals of x to the 10th minus 1 is isomorphic to the integers modulo 10 star. So there we have it written out. Again, my Galois group over the rationals of x to the 10th minus 1 is isomorphic to the integers modulo 10 star. Thanks so much for participating with me. Have a great day.